Joining me now, the Senate Republican Conference Chairman, John Barrasso of Wyoming. Senator, thank you for your time today. I'm grateful. I know it's a busy time up on the Hill. Answer the argument that Democrats are making that Joe Biden won the election by 7 million votes, 306 electoral votes. He ran on this very premise. If I'm elected, I will have a bigger economic stimulus package, also more money for vaccines right out of the box. Why wouldn't Senate Republicans say, OK, you did win. We'll give you the votes to bring it to the floor, even though we all may vote against it in the end? What's wrong with that?
Well, he ran on a campaign for a year of uniting the country, bringing us all together. And I thought he gave a great inaugural speech. But I'd like to see one thing he's actually done to try to unite the country. If you take a look at the New York Times lead editorial today, it was said ease up on the executive orders. The Washington Post said specifically with regard to this relief package, they said the best path forward is a bipartisan path. So yes, he won the presidency, but I will tell you, we have a 50-50 Senate. We have a House that is very narrowly divided at this point. You know, that should really be a mandate for moving to the middle. But that's not what we have going on now with this large proposal with the executive orders, which have targeted American energy, the jobs for my state, getting rid of the Keystone XL pipeline, the getting rid of oil and gas and coal on public lands, and now the call for a $15 an hour minimum wage. John, the small business owners I've been talking to in Wyoming are saying, that happens, I'm out of business. We can't afford this. That's another 1.3 million jobs that will be lost. So we do have people that want to work together in a bipartisan way to do targeted relief. But that's not what we're seeing coming from the Democrats in this proposal, which is to send checks to people making up to $300,000 a year.
Well, help me if we can. I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's pretty clear to me that there's not going to be a lot of Republican support. But the new president says he wants $1.9 trillion. What would it take? What would it take for you to say, we'll give you the votes to bring it to the floor, even though some of us might vote against it in the end? 1.5? Can you go for that, or is that too big?
Well, it's not just the price. The issue is the policy and what's included in it. And a $15 an hour minimum wage shouldn't be included in this piece. I think if you take a look at what the Washington Post said in their editorial today about things that ought to be left out, so that the same amount of money, we want to make sure people can get back to school, that the virus can be sent out, that people can actually get the shot, get the vaccine. Those are critical issues that we need to address. I agree with that, but not a lot of the extraneous things that are going to hurt the economy.
One of the things that's going to happen here is Senator Schumer says the Democrats will start the process next week. Then we will have in 2 weeks, a little less than that now, the Trump impeachment trial, which will pretty much shut the Senate down until it is over. We don't know whether that'll be a week, whether it'll be 2 weeks or more. We'll see as that plays out. But then one of the questions is if, and we saw from the test vote the other day, most unlikely President Trump, former President Trump, would be convicted in the Senate. So Susan Collins, one of your Republican colleagues, and Tim Kaine, a Democrat, are working on an alternative proposal. Listen to Senator Kaine here.
If we want accountability, how do we want this to end? Do we want it to end with Trump acquitted again? Or do we want to have it end with Senate finds that censures President Trump, finds that it was an insurrection and possibly bars him from holding office?
Now, Senator Schumer says they're having a trial. But if there was any way to stop a trial, would Republicans join in a big vote to censure the former president?
No. 45 Republicans voted that it is unconstitutional to try a president, a former president, a citizen, for impeachment. At this point, there's not going to be a conviction. You can read the writing on the wall on that. But Senator, that's what was sent over from the.
Forgive me for interrupting. So you believe I'm not going to. Okay, that's the Republican position, is it's not constitutional. So this former president, there should be no accountability. You don't think Republicans should go on the record to condemn what he did and said at that rally that led to the attack on your building, the Capitol building?
Well, there's plenty of accountability there. This president is the only president in the history of the nation to be impeached twice. Now, that's going to be in the history books forever. In terms of what Senator Kaine is proposing, Senator Kaine said, let's do this instead of a trial. Senator Schumer, the majority leader, has said, we're going to trial. That's what's going to happen in the United States Senate. They're saying that is even higher priority than focusing on getting people back to work, getting kids back to school, getting relief out there. They're saying it's a higher priority than allowing President Biden to put his cabinet in place. This is the Democrat priority. This is a partisan crusade. It is revenge. It's vindictive. And my prediction is that President Trump will not be found guilty when the final vote is taken.
Well, I think a lot of people in the country would like to see some accountability. I'm not going to get into the big argument about it. I do want to, though, before we lose our time, ask you about another question, a very serious question. You have a number of House Democrats today and Republicans voicing concerns about their security. There's been a lot of talk that especially Republicans like yourself, who did not support the president's lies about the elections, who were willing to have the Electoral College process move forward. What are you being told about the continuing threat? There were no incidents at the Biden inaugural. We're all grateful for that, but there was a very high security presence. What are you being told about continued threats, and is it personal? Are you receiving threats, or any of your colleagues that you know of?
I think members have been receiving threats. We now have 5,000 National Guard members still stationed around the Capitol building. You've been up here, John. You can see that the razor wire is still up. The fences are still up. And I think going into an impeachment trial, which is what Chuck Schumer said he's going to do and is the priority of the Democrats today, that's going to pour more gasoline on the fire. I think it's a mistake.
Well, they argue they're doing their constitutional duty, but that is a conversation we're going to have in the town, clearly, for at least several more weeks. Senator Barrasso, grateful for your time today, sir.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.